Figure it out.
Hello, this is Adam Koralik with Flying and Eating. Today, let's go somewhere and do something, and make sure to like, comment, and subscribe. Hey guys, it's Adam here. In the last few episodes of Flying and Eating, yes, this is still going. I was in Japan. I went to Tokyo specifically. Now, we've done a whole bunch of stuff, including just recently we did a whole big Godzilla tour. It was awesome. Today, we're going to take it a little bit more easy. We're going to be exploring various parts of Yokohama.
Ohayou gozaimasu. Today's adventure, what we're going to be doing is we're heading out back into Yokohama proper. I'm currently in Chinatown-ish, because that's where my hotel is. I want to go to one store, and I want to get some sushi again. This time I'm going to go to Hama Sushi, which is a different chain that I can recommend to people. I've had it in the past, but I'll show it to you guys. It's very, very similar to Kura Sushi as far as the way it goes. What I really want, to tell you the truth, is udon or ramen. But there's a problem with that. Udon places very rarely take credit cards. It's almost entirely cash-based, and I can't do that just because I don't have cash. As I've mentioned in the past, my ATM card expired before I came here, so I have no way to extract it. And so I had the cash I came with, and fortunately I've met a couple of nice people who were willing to basically like give me cash in exchange. I buy them something through my credit card. We just trade money essentially. And that's allowing me to at least use the train systems. But I can't use what little I have on udon. It's not important. Trains are. Funny thing though about ramen, and I only found this out yesterday, ramen's not Japanese. It's Chinese. In the West we consider ramen kind of a Japanese food, but the Japanese themselves think of it as Chinese food. Like if you said you wanted to go order some Chinese food, their interpretation of that statement is, okay, we'll get ramen. That little factoid blew my mind. And I'm in Chinatown too. You would think I would be able to find some ramen, right? I'm gonna try a little harder on that one, because maybe I'll get lucky and find one place that takes credit cards. I apologize for the noise. One place that takes credit cards for ramen. We'll see. We will see. So I was told if you come down to the restaurant section underneath the Yokohama station, there would be a whole bunch of great places, and there are. We got Vietnamese food, we got takoyaki, we got all sorts of stuff, beer. We even have ramen and udon places. And I was told if you come down here, they're gonna take credit cards. And they all do, except the ramen and udon places. So I'm just getting a small little takoyaki to make sure I have it and I can show you guys. Food has arrived, and so like what they put on it kind of moves due to the heat that's coming off of it, which is pretty cool to see, to be honest. Yeah, takoyaki. If you guys are unfamiliar, they're basically like little squid balls, deep fried and covered in all sorts of sauces and stuff. It may not sound like the most appealing thing to at first, but they're really, really good little things. I love how it's moving. That's so cool. These are really, really good. There's a lot of mayonnaise in there, which is an option. Like when I was buying it, she was like asking which ingredients I wanted to put. I just did the whole thing, everything, whatever you recommend, do it. And they did a great job. It's really, really hot though. That's kind of rule number one with takoyaki is give it some time. It's gonna hurt. It's hot. Little pro tip for you. If you order takoyaki for the first time and it smells really bad to you, it's probably a good one. It doesn't taste anything like it smells. It smells bad, but it tastes great. Oishi. Oishi is Japanese for tasty. Trust me, it is. It was very good. I recommend it. I recommend takoyaki in general. I should always say if you can get the chance to get it, get it. Interesting thing to observe here. So in places like that, it's very common. They give you like a little buzzer. You're supposed to go pick it up. I mean, it's a concept we use at home. In Japan, particularly when you're a gaijin like myself, they'll just bring it to you because they're kind of under the assumption that you don't really understand the system, and it's just easier for them to deal with it that way. Gaijin benefits. They think a little bit less of you, which works out in your favor. It's a thing. But either way, it's really good. Just be, helpful, polite, and clean up your plate. Don't just leave stuff there for them to have to deal with. That's not cool. So again, we're going to go to a store right now, and I want to stress this again. These signs, they're all exits, but they go to different places. And on Google, it'll often tell you specifically where you need to go. In my case, Northeast Exit A. So look for the signs. They're in English, as you can see. And just follow that, and it'll get you much closer to where you actually want to go. It's very efficient. The Japanese are really good at this. Like I keep telling everybody, the train system at first can seem really intimidating, but then you quickly realize it's like the best, most well-organized one on the entire planet. This just dawned on me. So you notice I've had food at a few different restaurants, with the exception of the barbecue place last night. I really haven't been anywhere like formal-ish. So you wouldn't expect to do this, but in general, tipping, not a thing here. Very much not a thing here. So much so that it's considered insulting if you actually do it. It's kind of got this veneer of like, here, take this, you know, don't quit your day job, but you need this more than I do. Like, almost like a passive-aggressive insult. Never tip here. Don't do it. There might be, I don't know this to be sure, there might be some places in like super gaijin areas, like maybe in Yokosuka, where it's just Americans working there or something. But in general, do not tip here. Do not do it. Regarding the JR lines, now here's the thing. A lot of times Google Maps will tell you like, hey, you need to get on such and such line. And you'll see one like Kaikyo line. You see it's very clear, it's up there. But then JR is just kind of generic. The thing with JR is they're huge, so they actually have a ton of different lines. So chances are if you're at a train station, you can't find your line, it's in there. So Google will actually have like a color coding system and a little letter system, as you can see there, the JT, JO, JK, JH, JS. That means all 5 of those lines are beyond the JR point. This is where the JR pass can theoretically be worth something. But again, that's hit or miss depending on your goals. But if you don't take the Shinkansen at least twice, it's not worth it. I kind of wanted to just stop for a second and appreciate Yokohama Station a little bit. Right here, this brings back a lot of memories for me because a whole bunch of different trips when I would come to Tokyo, you would fly into Narita as opposed to Haneda, which is what I flew into this time. And every line where it was like when I had to get to wherever I was going, everything would run through here. And I would usually take like a bus service straight from Haneda, and it would take you all the way right here to that spot over there where those people are. And then from there, you could go like anywhere in the country if you want. So I just remember walking around this at night, all my bags, not really sure where to go, what to do, and still Google Maps made it happen, and the people were super, you know, helpful and friendly. And Japan, man, it's great. It really is. As long as you kind of learn the system, just exist within the system. That's the best way to put it. Anybody who's been to Japan or has spent a lot of time here will tell you, like, don't try to fight the system ever. Just integrate into the system. Everything has an order, everything has a sequence. Once you figure those sequences and orders out, your life in Japan is a lot easier. So if you guys will indulge me for a second, I want to tell you guys a little story. I don't know who out there has seen my Guam videos. Please do if you haven't. But to kind of recap for a second, years ago in 2020, my mom and I, my late mother, took a trip to Guam. She absolutely loved it. I talked all about it there. Now back then, that was pre-pandemic, so the way you would do it, rather than going through Hawaii, which you could do, you would usually go through Japan. It was just a lot more efficient. Because you just get the bulk of the flight out of the way, and then it's like a little 3-hour connection. Now, please understand, when I was growing up, I wanted to come to Japan just like any nerd does. My mom had no interest in Japan. Like, she had been here once in like the 1970s for a couple weeks and didn't really enjoy herself. Which, you know, she loved to travel, don't get the wrong impression. Like, she went to Vietnam 6 times to teach English to immigrants. You know, well, not, they weren't immigrants, you know what I'm saying. To teach English to students, to kids. She used to go to Fiji for the same thing, you know, like, she used to just travel constantly. But for Japan, it was like she would change planes here. She didn't really want to spend any time here. So in 2020, we did the Guam thing. And that meant coming out here. And the way the flight worked, we had no choice but to spend a night in Narita. Now, there's nothing up in Narita. There's nothing there. It's an airport and a farm. Like, there's nothing. So I was like, why don't we take the bus in? We'll go into Yokohama. We'll get some dinner. We'll hang out with my buddy Brett, who you guys would have seen in this series, except that he's currently at home in New Zealand. He's originally from there. Anyway, so we met up with him right here in this spot back there. And we walked through this mall, and we ended up going here. This is a curry place. Now, the curry place is really good, but I'm pretty grateful to this place because my mom and I, that's the only Japanese experience we ever got to have, was eating here at this exact spot. And it kind of convinced her the food has gotten a lot better. And then, you know, walking around, everything was much more modernized. I mean, granted, she hadn't been here since the 1970s. It paints a certain picture in your head, right? I mean, that's only like 20 years after the war. But I guess what I'm trying to say is I'm really grateful to this place, and it's making me a little emotional because shortly after this, we went to Guam itself. We went back home. She passed away a few months later. So right here is the one and only time I ever got to have a meal with my mother in Japan, a country I had been wanting to go to and trying to convince her to go through my whole life. And yeah, it's just kind of a moment. I just thank you for listening.
I remember taking that. Like, if you want to get to the airports, you can do it via bus directly from right here. You follow the line for the YCAT thing and just go left. And there'll be a Starbucks out there, the embassy, as well as a place to buy tickets. That'll take you to Haneda or Narita. Yeah, this is like, strangely, as odd as this is going to sound, it's kind of my Japanese stomping grounds is this mall. This place is ridiculously big, by the way. Like, it's a train station, it's a place to get air travel arrangements, it's a mall, it's a big mall. It's pretty cool. Check out the Porta stuff. All based on the name Porto, the city in Portugal, because Portuguese influence in Japan, very historically significant. Since I'm here, I figure I'll show you. If you arrive on one of the bus lines, it'll bring you right to this point right here, outside, and then you come on in, and then you can get access to all the trains. You can get something to eat at Lawson's or whatever, Starbucks, the embassy's here. If you're freaking out, your data doesn't work, they'll have Wi-Fi for you. I remember standing here, charging my phone right there a bunch of times. My mom and I had drinks in there. I remember that. Yeah. Anyway, sorry. You could go over to here and buy your tickets to get yourself back to either Haneda or Narita. And they also, I remember this place, I don't know if it still does, they used to sell tons of the Kit Kats, the stereotypical ones. It doesn't look like they're doing it currently, but to be honest with you, the best place to get those type of Kit Kats is all at the airports, especially Narita.
So I thought I'd take a second to explain like why you might want to take the bus as opposed to the trains to the airport. Where we are in Yokohama, taking a bus to Haneda doesn't make a whole lot of sense because it's pretty close by. Really, the convenience is the fact that when you take the bus, it takes you straight to the drop-off point, but also if you have a lot of baggage, they'll put the bags like on the bus underneath, and there's guys who do all that for you. With Haneda, it's not that far away. With Narita, though, yeah, this was very worthwhile doing when I was coming in and out of Narita, because getting to Narita is a huge pain. The amount of times you have to change trains and everything. Yeah, it's not recommended to take a train out there unless you just have to for affordability. But having them handle all your bags and everything, way worth it for Narita, not Haneda.
Alright, here's where we're gonna go shopping. This is Surigaya Specialty Store. This is a chain of stores throughout Japan that kind of embraces all things nerd. So obviously you have your anime stuff, you have your electronics, and you know, manga, all that kind of, frankly, all that kind of stuff that you would expect. But for our purposes, here they are, the video games. Yeah, I'm gonna have to spend some time going through here. Obviously, woof, some of the heavy hitters, man, expensive heavy hitters. But yeah, you get the idea. There's oh man, they got multiple rows here. This is gonna take me a while, but I'm looking forward to going through all of this and seeing what, if anything, inevitably, what kind of treasure is in here that I will like. Oh, look, my favorite Dreamcast 360 guidebooks, you know. We will come up with something. So Aldo was explaining to me that the Japanese are trying to push credit cards on people. So in true Japanese fashion, they just put little cutesy anime stuff on them.
So this is another little shopping bonus that you'll see from time to time, but it doesn't come up much. So this is the tax-free thing. This is what we were doing. But there's also these additional options for 5 or even 10% off certain things depending upon if you have like a Union Pay card. But I believe you have to be Chinese to have that. All these things don't really apply to Americans. Like that's clearly Vietnam.
They speak English, but maybe there's some Hong Kong stuff in there. I'm honestly not really sure. Unfortunately, this didn't apply to me. There are some places where they will give you an additional 5% off for using a Visa credit card, which I have, and it didn't apply in this case. I've never had it actually work. So I think it's not as simple as a Visa, but like a specific one. Either way, I just put it out there if anybody most likely from Hong Kong is watching. But some of those might be Australian. I genuinely don't know.
So I just bought a bunch of stuff, and I actually found this place does the tax-free thing, but they do it the old way. So what happens in this case is the mall I'm in, the Yokohama like main terminal mall, you can kind of buy all this stuff, and then when you're done, bring all your receipts to this one specific area, and they give you a guide explaining all this, and then you go and you basically get the refund back in cash. This is how it used to be done. I'm a little surprised they're still doing it here, but it's actually good for me because I need the cash for the train, so perfect. This area where it says Epos Card Center, that's where you're supposed to go. You just bring all the tax paper stuff with you, and then they have you sit down like it's a bank, which kind of is, and then hand them your passport, hand them your paperwork, they'll go do all the work, then they'll come back with like an itemized receipt of what you're getting back, plus the actual cash in yen. They still keep a small percentage of it. I'm not really sure why, but I mean, it's minuscule, but worth noting. So this is cool. Basically, between November 11th and November 27th, there's going to be a South Park pop-up shop. I'll still be here. Maybe I can come check that out. We'll see. We'll see. Okay, you got to give props to the Japanese. I never knew a store could sell natural disasters. That is awesome. We are preparing to leave Yokohama Station. Originally, I was going to go to a Hama Sushi nearby, and then I realized there's one kind of close to the hotel. I just have to take the JR line over there, the Nagishi line specifically. So once again, to remind you, there is no sign for that line. So if you ever just don't see it, look for JR, and then there's a good chance it'll break down and say, oh yeah, okay, the one you want is over there. So that's where we're going. So in my case, I want to hit the Nagishi line, JK, and I'm not joking, towards Ofuna. And it has a time that's 4:46. Let me give you guys a pro tip on public bathrooms. They're very common in Japan, usually inside train stations. The only catch to it is they're always beyond the payment point, like where you enter. So if you ever have to use the bathroom, do it when you're inside like the paid area of a train. Use the bathroom as long as you're not in a rush. Then you don't have to deal with bathrooms. They're nice to just get that out of the way and continue on your travels. But once you leave the paid area, good luck to you.
Oh, I can actually teach you how to ask for that. If you're like, where's the bathroom? Toilet wa, like toilet, English. Toilet wa doko desu ka? Basically means, sorry, where's the toilet? You know, and then hopefully they can just kind of point for you. Toilet wa doko desu ka?
Right there is what we want. Hama Sushi. It's on the 5th floor of this building. They're just telling you in advance, hey, go on up on your own. Don't ask us questions. Although alternatively, you could say, I don't know how grammatically accurate this would be, but you could say Hama Sushi wa doko desu ka. That might just result in somebody finger pointing, but hey, it might help. Here we are. This is where we want to be. Again, this is like Kura Sushi. It's just a competing chain. Think your McDonald's versus your Burger King. I like this one a lot, though. I've been to one before. It's cool. It has more options as far as like random soups and desserts and stuff like that. Yeah, this is gonna be good. And it's 110 yen per piece, sometimes 100 yen, which currently is like 80 cents. So one of the cool things about Hama Sushi is it's a tad more gaijin compatible. When you walk in, there's like a little system, like a kiosk where you have to kind of fill in like how many people are there. Do you want to sit at a table? Do you want to sit at a counter, etc. It actually will let you switch over to English if you want to. And then once you sit down, you can once again switch the languages, and we can use this to order whatever we want. And see if we're gonna put it into English. And yeah, start ordering. Yeah, now everything's in English, so I can do whatever I want. And again, it comes with one of these little code things which you use to pay automatically at the end. Okay, so this one works differently than the last one I went to. So in this case, the conveyor belt isn't like a normal, like a Kura Sushi. Here you specifically order whatever you want and just, you know, place it there, and then it goes ahead, and so you just kind of do a whole bunch, and then gradually they will come out here. So it's letting me know that my thing is about to show up, and there it is. Boom. This is fatty seared tuna. Got some albacore shrimp with seared mayo and cheese, and same with salmon. Seared mayo and cheese. This is kind of cool though. They have different types of soy sauce. Special, whatever that means. special sushi. Hidaki kombu, kanto, shikoku, and kyushu. Now, what's the difference between any of them? No idea. So as you guys know, I failed miserably to get udon today. Well, they kind of have some. They have some udon, they have some ramen, and I went ahead and ordered the ramen noodles and miso broth. Boom. It's not going to be your upper echelon ramen or udon, but it will definitely satisfy that urge.
I must wait though. I suffer from cat tongue, meaning it's going to be way too hot. I'm going to burn myself. No.
Now, I always recommend that when you get this stuff, you let it sit as long as possible, let all the flavors soak up, especially the egg. Always eat the egg last. You know, maybe bury it a little, just let it absorb the flavor. That's always should be the last part. Personally, I recommend eating it with chopsticks and getting as much of the content out as possible, and then you kind of slurp and use the spoon. Slurping is 100% socially acceptable here. It's actually a sign of encouragement of the flavor. So I think I'm pretty much done. I'm going to go out with the holy trinity here, shrimp, tuna, and salmon, because why not? Yeah, I went ahead and got dessert. I got the Millie crepe cake again. These are fantastic. They vary based on restaurant, obviously. I also went ahead and ordered a coffee too. This is like some sort of like latte thing, so I figured good little finale. Oh, I should probably point this out. So this little thing here in front of me basically explains that chopsticks, knife, you know, a spoon, a fork, you know, whatever, other sauces, wet naps, whatever you need, it's all available like right over there, and you should just go help yourself, take whatever you need. So that's what I did. Man, I'll be honest, I think Kura Sushi does most of the things better, but the Millie crepe cake, Hama Sushi does this to perfection. They should just be a dessert place at this point. Just watch how this slices. Look at that. This tastes incredible. This is the one I've been chasing, man. I've been chasing this ghost. The thing is, the Millie crepe cake, you can get it in a lot of places. You can get it in the US. You can get it at a lot of Asian, you know, stores and stuff. I've had it. It's always massively disappointing. I don't know why, but of all the ones I've ever had, Hama Sushi just knocks it out of the park by comparison to everybody else. This is just way better. I don't know what they're doing, but they're doing it right. So I just came out of Hama Sushi. It's good. I mean, by American standards, I mean, it's fast food. It's McDonald's to these people, and they're right, because there's way better places for sushi. Now that said, this is something that's super convenient for, frankly, our people, our gaijin weirdos who are like, oh, where's the sushi? Like, this is going to be very, very compatible for you and very affordable. I personally would say Kura Sushi's better than Kura Sushi. Sorry, is better than Hama Sushi. I'll say the one thing I really like about Hama Sushi though is that the way they do the Millie crepe cakes is much better. Like, I would almost recommend just going here just to try that and then leaving, but that's me. But you could definitely do worse. So we're gonna have this. I got this the other day. This is CC Lemon. I love this stuff. It's like, you know, a vitamin C kind of supplement thing in the form of a soda. But this one is special. It's got honey and apple flavor. So I don't know what to make of this, but I guess we'll soon find out. I mean, yeah, it tastes exactly like it says. Honey, apple, lemon, soda. It's pretty good, actually. I don't know if I'd really crave it. The apple hits a little stronger a little bit after that. I don't know if I'd really want another one. It's pleasant, but I don't think I would ever crave it, if that makes any sense. You could do worse, but you could do better. Honestly, I kind of like the regular one more.
And that'll do it for part 7. Yes, we've already gotten through 7 parts of this. So please stay tuned to the next one. We'll be eating udon, we'll be shopping some more, and then we're going to do something that goes against every single element of everything I believe in, but you'll have fun on my behalf when you get there. So please stay tuned for that. So like, comment, subscribe. As always, please check out all the social media stuff in the description: Twitter, Instagram, Facebook, Discord, Patreon, etc. Thank you so much for the support, and I'll see you all later.